All right, here's one of the tricky parts of hooking up a mini split, and that is cutting the copper and then flaring it. And I'm using a yellow jacket because you can get one for $5 and this one costs more. And this is the important step because if it's going to leak, there's only four places it could leak. It leak here or over there by the compressor. And so I thought it was important enough to get a good torque wrench and a good flaring tool. These are the both yellow jackets, and this was the most important part. So here's step number one. This does not fit to that. The bolt. So I have to use the one that came with it, which is this one. So I have to cut it. The line set bolt does not fit there, so I have to cut it. This came with this one. So anyway, I have to cut it, flare it, make sure this one's in first, and then go ahead and hook it up. So this is the tricky part of any mini split, I believe. So we'll, get this in detail. All right, first things first, get a nice cutter. I bought this one at Lowe's. I believe it's a Linux. Yep. And anyway, just you keep tightening it and you turn it, and you see there, that'll cut it. And I want to get it close to there because I don't have to reflare it. Anyway, keep cutting it until keep turning, keep turning. A little more pressure. You see a groove starting to form. Keep turning. One little turn, go around, do a nice little snug turn, go around some more, nice little snug turn. And yeah, some people are like, oh, just do it faster, whatever. This way I know that I'm getting a nice clean cut, even though it'll take a little bit longer. And it's getting looser. See? All right. And it's almost there. And there it goes. Ta-da! All right. Next, we're going to deburr it. But I might go ahead and cut this one. But since you got the idea, right? See, there's a flare, but this is too small. So we're gonna cut that as well. All right, going to the next step. All right, next we take our deburring tool. Make sure that this is facing down, and I'm not actually gonna do it, but you start turning around, and basically keep doing this, and then it'll deburr it, and then always I'm gonna point this downward so that as I deburr it, all the sharp edges get out of there. So, this tool goes around like this. It's a pretty neat deburring tool. Let me get you which one I'm using. Okay, I think I got it online. Pretty cheap. All right, so let's deburr that, and then we'll show you how to flare it. All right, so I had a problem where these wouldn't fit, and so I cut them, deburred them, and ready to flare them, and then I noticed that they were not going to fit, and then they told me that this unit comes with these adapters. So I did not have to flare these, but I jumped to conclusions, so I'm going to anyway, I have a chance to reflare so I can show you exactly how to do it. So this at least will be good for YouTube. So I'm putting the same ones back on because they have these adapters. So anyway, all right, first thing, I deburred it. Looks good. Took everything off from the inside. Make sure there's no little pieces flying around. And then always put this back in. I've done it many times where I flared it and realized I left this out. So all right, next you should see the flaring tool. All right, so here I put the yellow jacket on, and you can see a little bit of the copper sticking out the line set. You want just a little bit. You have to eyeball it and get better at it, but you can see how much I've left. And then this has a clutch that'll automatically let it go as I drill down into it. That little arrow there, and then there's a black line, and hopefully you can see that. I'm gonna try to hold the phone at the same time. And so I'm turning, and you probably can see it going down there, and this is gonna get tough. And hopefully you have a good view, because the phone's blocking my view, but I think I can see it. And basically I just keep turning this, and so over here I'm turning it, just keep turning it until the clutch will disengage and I won't be able to turn it anymore. But you can see that it's starting to flare down, and almost there. I think I will have to let it go. So I keep turning this until it won't turn anymore, because the clutch will engage and it'll feel loose. I'll show you that. All right, so now this turns freely, and because don't do any pressure anymore, and you can see that it has flared again. I'm gonna try to do it one hand. I'll let this go. So start backing off it, and then start backing this off it, and I'm try to keep it on so you can see that, but I might have to let it go. Let me try one more time. No, I need two hands. All right, I'll try to get a closer look. All right. Let me pull this, keep doing that a little bit more, and then you can see it opening up, and you can see the flare, and it's a good flare. So let me try to turn this a little more and back it off. All right, there, I'm able to open it up now, and there's my flare. That looks good. Now let's check it. Nice and tight there, not a lot of play. Okay, it's even all the way around, looks very even, and looks nice and shiny, cleaned up. So now I'm gonna use my torque wrench, and I have this stuff, nylon blue gasket and thread sealant. So I use some of this, but I definitely used my torque wrench. But that's how you make a flare, and that's the hardest part, and that's a very good fit. So anyway, now that should go right in there. Always leave yourself some room so you can pull it over. But that's how you make a flare on a line set, not a mini split. All right, I made another video on deburring and flaring the line sets, and so it's coming from my house, and I already got these two in. I'm gonna get these two in. So I used, a Lennox to cut it, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Then I used a deburring tool. So move that around. Of course, I'm holding it, and then make sure none of the shavings go inside. So knock it, make sure it goes out, and then deburr it. And then this is where I use this bad boy. It's a yellow jacket. It has a clutch, so you can't over tighten it, and this is the hard part. So and it's hard because I'm using one hand here. So this is a 3/8. So I'm looking at the 3/8. Let's see if we can see it. Then I would put it there, clasp it, and then there's a blue line, and then that aligns to these little tick marks. Make sure it's aligned. So let me put it on there, and then I'll come back. Okay, I got it on there, and you see it's just a little bit out, not a lot, just a little bit, a tiny little bit, and I got it clamped. Now I got to move this over until that blue lines up with that tick mark, but then you won't be able to see. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that that will go over there. Okay, now I got it clamped down. You see it sticking out a little bit. I got my blue arrow aligned, and I'm gonna start turning this, and then it'll get harder and harder, and it'll start flaring, and then it'll just give, and that meant that the clutch kicked in. Sorry, I have to do it with two hands. Okay, there you go. I took the tool off, and you see how it blends it really nicely all the way across, and then that will go on right there, and see how it fits very nicely. And I'm glad I did this, because we always do this. Don't forget this. You got to put this on first. So now what I got to do is I got to recut it and then do it again. So I'm glad I did it, because I've done that before and I'm busy trying to figure out the camera. So I'm gonna have to recut it and then put this in first, then flare it again. So anyway, I'm glad that happened. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you. But that's how to use a yellow jacket flare on copper maker, and it's got a clutch, so it just stops. You don't have to guess, because with these cheap ones, you keep pressing, you thin this out. So anyway, good luck with your project.